If I could ask you to start by just giving your name and affiliation.
It's Bob Scarfo. I'm with the Interdisciplinary Design Institute in Spokane.
Great. I'm very interested in your project because I grew up in the Hillyard neighborhood of Spokane, and by way of background, Hillyard was once a really booming railroad community, and when the railroad pulled out, the community went into some economic decline, and it really hasn't recovered. I'd like to know what's going on with the redevelopment of my old neighborhood.
Oh, God. Well, I really some fortunate things happened about a year ago, and I fell in with this group of folks from Hillyard that just have more energy than we can deal with. What's interesting is a group of people have coalesced, and they've said, you know, that Hillyard used to be so strong economically and so strong socially, and it's gone downhill since Great Northern pulled out and the aluminum manufacturing interests pulled out. And some folks have come home. They were children, and they went and they made their lives, and they've returned, and they and some new blood, still most of them over 50 years old, have moved into the community, and they've just said, we can do something here. I can't even remember how we got involved, but the students have been working with Hillyard folks now one-on-one in many instances, or small groups, and with specific projects. Everything interior design worked with one of the client groups to look at the old Masonic temple and how it might be renovated and brought back to life. A number of the business folks wanted the industrial area to be looked at, and there have been individual projects there. A conference center where we might bring in people and show them, a really good first impression. I think one of the real high points for the whole thing was that because of the north-south corridor that's coming through there, one of the students realized that Octavia Boulevard in San Francisco, the double-decker highway that collapsed, well, they didn't rebuild it. And what they did was they took Octavia Boulevard that was underneath it, and they turned it into a true boulevard. Bicycle paths, tree-lined, and the amazing thing was it handles the same number of cars that the double-decker highway used to handle. And so he ran with that, and he found that in Japan and in France there were two similar kinds of boulevards, and he got the numbers, he got the dimensions. And what he showed was that what the DOT, WSU, is planning, it could be something more community-friendly. And even more amazing, in the final presentation, there were two WSU representatives there. I didn't know they were coming. And they really, they liked what they heard. They said they said that it was probably the best look at what Hillyard could be in 20 years that they've ever heard, and they mentioned to the Hillyard folks that they'd like to start working more closely with us, and that was a real feather in our cap.
You're saying that it's the students that are coming up with some of these concepts and doing the research? It's
the students are listening to the old-timers, the new economic and social vitality, and most of them are older. The thing is that they're listening to them, but what they're bringing, some of the things, and it's in the logo. One of the students produced the logo here. We're talking about energy production and in wind. We're talking about higher-rise density, pedestrian neighborhood. In fact, and this is what attracted me when I talked with some of the first Hillyard folks. They said that some of the things they were doing relative to crime prevention were cameras that were motion activated because it saved energy. And I'm going, saved energy? People don't usually talk that way. And then they were talking about they wanted an environment that kids could walk to school, bicycle to school, people could walk and bicycle to work. And so they're thinking about things that are really growing trends today. And I said, this isn't the typical kind of talk. And so to bring them together with the students and have the students, do the research and get the numbers and get the studies, and then it's just been taken off. I think the most exciting thing for me was at the end of the semester, the biggest thing the students asked was, we want to know that this is going to continue. We want to know that it's not going to end or be a one-semester project. And I had already talked with the Hillyard interests, and we'd already planned the next 3 years of work that we're going to be doing with them.
So this is still an ongoing project.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like a combination of good partnership and real-world experience for the students.
Absolutely, absolutely. And actually, it's, I'm waiting to hear from a publisher. I'm trying to get an article out that talks about not only that, but the fact that the Hillyard folks, I have quotes from some of them they're saying, we're almost moving too fast because of the students. And so this service learning thing that we've provided has really brought a lot of energy to the neighborhood. And it'll be interesting to see, are we in fact going to reduce the amount of time it normally takes to make change happen? So
we'll see. Thanks very much, Bob.
Thank you.